All right, well, good morning, everyone. As you know, I'm Mayor Tim Balderman here from the Village of New Lenox, and it's the 22nd anniversary of the terrorist attacks that took place on September 11th. As I look around the room, with the exception of the one little one that we have here, we all remember where we were that day, I'm sure, and what was going on. I know we remember the days that followed, and how, despite divisions in our country, we all came together as Americans. We were certainly supportive of each other. We put all our differences aside to take care of those who needed taken care of, and that was actually each and every one of us. It was something that we had not seen, certainly of this magnitude, on our American soil. And so 22 years later, when we vowed to never forget, we're here today to say thank you to our veterans who support our Constitution, defend our freedoms, and to our first responders for all they do day in and day out to keep us safe. We are grateful for that. As times change, obviously it becomes more and more difficult. We see more and more division for our first responders to do their job. But in this community here in New Lenox, we're extremely grateful for all that they do, keeping us safe, and they do a great job of it. And so I want to say thank you for those of you who were able to make it out, and those I know that will be coming out a little later on today. To all of you for protecting us and making us proud to live right here in this community. Before I call the chief up from the police department, we'll have the chief from the fire department come up. I think it's appropriate that we stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before I turn it over to the chief, I was watching a special on 9/11 last night, and one of the firefighters that was speaking, that was there that day, was afraid that this would just become a page in a history book, that we would, as Americans, forget the horror of that day, and that as next generations come up, it would be something that simply was learned about in school for a lesson and then moved on. We have to make sure that that doesn't happen. We have a responsibility to make sure that we teach the younger generations of what life was like here in this country before that tragic day, how we all came together then, and how we can all still come together now despite our differences. So I think it's incredibly important. It is nice to see a little one here, but we really all have that obligation to pass this on to the next generation and the one after that, so we truly never forget. At this time, I'd like to ask Chief Louis Alessandrini to step up.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. I get the opportunity to speak at a lot of events, and today always the nerves are a little evident. Such a anniversary of a tragic day. It stirs up a lot of emotions. And I try to think about what I would say today, what hasn't been said for 22 years on this day now. But the thing that just keeps over and over in my mind today is, let us never forget. Let us never forget. Let us never forget the thousands of lives that were lost that morning, whether it was in the Twin Towers, on airplanes, or in a field in Pennsylvania, or on battlefields somewhere in the Middle East, as we continued the pursuit to hold those that were responsible for that day accountable. But let us never forget the bravery and the courage and the heroism of the people that did their job on that day. They went to work every day, like many of us here, to do their job as police officers and firefighters and first responders. We know what we signed up for when we raised our hand and took our oath. And we know that we may be called to make that ultimate sacrifice at some point. We pray that it doesn't happen, but then we also pray to act with the same bravery that those men and women did that day. Hundreds of first responders ran into a burning building, ran upstairs, knowing they weren't coming down. Let us never forget that. And then let us never forget that people still sign up to do this job today. That there still are good men, good women, brave men, brave women that still say, I want to do that job. I want to risk everything to serve and to protect our fellow citizens. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful, and I pray that we always have men and women that will continue to come and do this job. Because the reality is, we do leave every morning, and in the back of our minds, there is the potential that we might not come home. For law enforcement in particular, it's a far greater reality today than it was 28 years ago when I signed up to do this job. So I am thankful for the men and women on the fire side, on the police side, the good men and women that continue to come here and serve with professionalism and earn the respect and the support of those that we serve. And then I would also like to say again, as I often say, thank you to the citizens that support us every day in our job, to the village administration that continues to support us, to the mayor that always has our back. And it's our job to earn that respect every day. And so let us never forget. God bless the men and women, all the first responders, all of our military, all that have done it prior to 9/11, 22 years ago, and all that continue to do it every day. I thank all of you again. God bless this great country. God bless America. Thank you.
No one lost more people that day, other than, of course, the great citizens of this country, than the brave men and women of the firefighting force. So at this time, it's my pleasure to ask Chief Adam Riegel to come up and speak. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Like Chief Alessandrini said, coming up to this event every year, I always take the time to reflect and look back on things. The one thing that still strikes me is I had the honor and privilege to meet and listen to one of the last firefighters that survived out of the World Trade Center. Like Chief Alessandrini said, the police, fire, emergency services all rushed in that day. But the thing that really struck me is what he talked about the citizens, that they were taking care of each other. You know, there were people that were having trouble getting down the stairs. People were stopping to help each other down. You know, just the compassion that was going on that day with everyone around. You know, fire, police, emergency services, you know, that's what we signed up for. Those people that day were just at work in an office building doing what they do every day. And they took the time to care about the people around them. And that's something that I hope that we can all reflect back on when this happens and look and see, you know, how can we be nice to each other and just show compassion to people around. Sometimes I think that gets lost in our day-to-day rush, and that's the one thing that always sticks out to me on this day. That was something that we saw definitely that day and the days after, especially in New York and Pennsylvania. This year, we also had the opportunity to stop on our way back from the East Coast, picking up some vehicles at the, I'm sorry, I think Flight 93 crash site. It was a rather moving event. That was the first time I'd been able to be there, just to sit there and realize that those people had fought. Again, those were just citizens. They hadn't signed up for that. They were just in the right place at the right time and decided to make a difference in the world. The day could have been drastically different had they not taken action. So again, as we reflect on the day, take time to remember all those that were lost, and try to just be nice and do something to someone around you that can help make the world a little better. As we go forward, I think that can make things better for everyone if we all just take the time to help each other just a little bit more. So again, thank you, and as you take time today to remember, please just remember all those that were lost, those that we continue to lose through cancer and other issues from 9/11 that day. The 343 firefighters that were lost that day were just the tip of it. Every day we continue to lose firefighters, first responders, police from cancer, and mental health from that day. So we just take time out, remember all those today as we go forward. And again, thank you all for coming.
Thank you. And Chief, I think you hit on a great point, and that's right. We all need to be kind and compassionate with each other. That makes a difference every day. I want to thank you for coming out and supporting our law enforcement, our firefighters, our first responders, and our military today. It's something we say, but we truly can never forget. Thank you, and have a great day. Thank you.